too warm.
It's too warm.
It's too warm.
It's too warm.
End it there. Too warm.
Yeah,
No podcast. Too warm.
I wouldn't even be upset about that, to be honest.
I almost asked to push this back or maybe not do this week, but then I thought, no, I ain't no bitch, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it is too warm.
It is too hot,
still,
though, so let's not. No, I'm kidding. No. But, right, Judd, guess what happened today?
What happened today?
Dad paid me £20 to sit in his living room for 2 hours.
All right, I'm aware of this because he was going to. Oh, hold on, I think we might have a special. What's that? He says, "Was that today?"
He doesn't have to join. Like, if for anyone who listened to last week's podcast, which I actually haven't even uploaded yet, then it's only the same special guest. Does that feels insulting calling just one of your mates a special guest? Because that sounds like the other type of special.
Yeah. Well,
maybe. But anyway, I went to Papa's house and to do my work. And as you know, I'm an IT boy, right?
Yeah. So you can work from wherever.
Yeah, pretty much. But I can't work from somewhere that has no electricity or internet. And guess what the technician man was doing at Dad's house, which is the whole reason I had to be there.
Nice.
So yeah, I kind of just fiddled on my phone and hope, because I've got my emails and like the work communication on my phone. So if anyone does need me, I can still see it on my phone and try and do something about it. But so I just kind of was looking at my phone like, nobody have a problem until about 11 o'clock, okay? So yeah, but that was quite funny. What have you been up to? What's happened? What have you been doing?
So you know how on the last. By the way, Sam's not coming on the podcast today. He just told me he forgot it was today. He told me he forgot it was today, and it's at Five Guys with his family. And I told him that he should stream from Five Guys, but I don't think he's going to do that. Yeah. So you know how we were talking quite a bit about League of Legends on the last podcast. Well, me and Sam have been pretty much hitting that every single day since we did the podcast, and I've been getting considerably better. I'm still not great, but I'm getting to a point where I could maybe in certain situations be considered good, maybe. So,
which means for most people that means you're kind of shit. Not a complete bot, just like 50% bot.
The thing is with League of Legends is that it takes a lot longer than other games to not be shit. So
yeah.
It's still a fair achievement, but I'm still maybe shit.
It's one of them where the learning curve is kind of like it's just not very steady, is it? It's like you might put for like a normal shooter, I can use Apex as an example because it's what I've played lots. You might if you put in 10 hours into Apex, you will not be completely terrible, but you're going to be really bad. Right? Yeah. If you put in 50 hours, you'll start to be getting kind of, you're getting you to know what you're doing a bit, but you're still not good. Then 100 to 150 hours, you're getting all right, sort of medium-ish. Then between that and like 400 hours, like it takes to about 400 hours to be considered kind of good. And then it takes another 400 hours to get to like good. Whereas League of Legends seems like you still shit after 800 hours, and then it
because
takes like
the problem is 5% of the game is picking a character and going, right, this is my main, and you shouldn't really do that anyway because you need to be flexible for your team. But if you go, this is my main, I want to be good with this character because I like them. Then probably, maybe not even 5%, like 2% of League of Legends is then going, right, okay, I am now really good with this character. The other 98% of that game is going, right, what the fuck does everybody else do?
Just turn your mic down a tiny bit.
Because it's like...
That's off. That's off. Oh. When I say a tiny bit, that microphone's
it's
a nice one.
It's
professional
very
podcast is good.
Yeah, like... There's so many champions in League of Legends. There's got to be like 30, I should imagine.
Yeah.
How many?
It's bad. I think games aren't getting this. Like, Apex is going to have that problem as well, because there's a big trend in there to do this Overwatch style, having lots of characters.
Oh my god! There are 132 champions in League of Legends.
132? Surely most of those do the same thing. Surely.
Well, we were talking about this recently, me and Sam. There are four champions, 4 or 5, that basically have a thing where they just become invincible. Like, you just can't do any damage to them. 4 of them have that as their ultimate, and 1 of them has it as his passive ability when he dies.
It's a big problem, isn't it? And it's what we've said to do with Overwatch before. Like, when we played Overwatch, there's just too many fucking characters. There's no way you can balance stuff when you've got loads of characters. And in shooter games, guns as well is a problem, and equipment and that sort of thing. When you've got that many characters, you can't balance it. It's a massive clusterfuck. You've got to have a bunch of characters that basically do the exact same thing. There's only so many things you can do with the game, you know? It's like, it's a bit ridiculous, really.
But basically, the main talking point is that Sam, I think it was this morning, got suspended from the game for 2 weeks.
Again?
Yeah, because he called someone a dog and a retard.
Oh, well, that's how gaming goes. My boss sort of introduced me to it. He had to bring his nephew into the office when he was dropping off some work for me, basically. And obviously, like any other 8-year-old in the world, he's playing a shit ton of Fortnite. Which I find quite funny. I was kind of like, no, stay away, child. Don't do it. Don't get sucked in. It's like, I felt like being like that to him. It's like, don't get sucked into this world of online games. It's not worth it, honestly.
Yeah,
I've been playing, it's like I said
not.
last week, I've been playing Assassin's Creed through again. I just started Assassin's Creed 2, and oh boy, in recent times, I've never been happier playing a game. Like, all those 800 hours playing Apex, I wasn't as happy as this. I've just been playing games from like 2007, and it's just so much better. But yeah, it's games be badly is what we know. Games be badly.
I recently played a single player game all the way through myself.
Was it The Witcher? Because I bet it wasn't.
No, it wasn't The Witcher.
It's too shit.
It was Warhammer 40k Space Marine. Yeah.
That sounds interesting. Oh, you know Warhammer, right? I feel like they create things that are pretty much mostly only like they're really only aiming for their own fans already, aren't they? With everything they put out.
Basically, they're going to have to, aren't they? Because
not really. You know how like a lot of plenty of companies and even online games makers, they'll try and sort of tailor it so that they're trying to 50-50 please fans that are already there and also bring in new people because obviously they want their audience to grow. Warhammer doesn't really seem to have that approach. They just seem to be catering to the same 50-year-old men who's been playing it since they were about 13. So, I mean, it works. It works.
Yeah, it's the thing is though, I could see this being a game. In fact, I know a fair amount of people who are like, oh yeah, I've never, I don't get into like the lore or the tabletop stuff or anything, but I played Warhammer 40k Space Marine and it was fucking sick. And I'd watch like all the story and stuff on YouTube, and I sort of know everything that was happening, and I was like, oh well, I'm not going to bother playing it now because I've seen it on YouTube. And then I was just on Steam and I saw it, it was like, I think it's like 12 quid, something like that, and I went, oh, okay, I'm going to play it then. And
fair enough.
It was incredibly satisfying. It was
so much more satisfying than multiplayer games, though. Yeah,
a lot more, and it was just it just felt so right. Like I'd expect it. Like I'd expect them to get like a Space Marine wrong because for example, in the newest Dawn of War title, they have the main character who is in something called Terminator armor. He can fucking like leap over like cliff faces and do a flip, and that's not how it works. When you put the armor on, you're essentially wearing a tank. So you're clunky as fuck. You're meant to basically stand there, soak up a load of bullets, and stand there shooting a big gun. That's the idea of the armor. You can't. I think ages ago there was a bit in one of the books that said it takes fucking years of training to be able to crouch down in the suit of armor and pick a flower. That takes years.
Yeah. That's why it's very hard to bring other companies in to make something to do with like such an IP that's so drenched in years of law and that, because you need people who've been observing it for so many years to come in. It's obvious when they've not taken care on that, and all they need to do is bring in some sweaties from down local nerd club.
I'll do it. I'll do it for free. I'll do it just to say I worked on it.
Well, exactly. So that's all they need to do is just go, right, we've designed this character like this, and these are his abilities and that, and from that, what do you think? And they'd go, yeah, that's cool, but it's kind of wrong. And they'd be like, right, okay, because so they should do it right, you know. I get what you mean.
But anyway, I was playing it and I was thinking, is this gonna feel right? Are they gonna get this feel right? And I started playing it and immediately I just went, oh my god, it feels perfect.
Yeah,
this is exactly like they got their movement exactly right. You can't jump in the game; you can only sort of roll. Yeah. Which again, I guess maybe a Space Marine would be able to jump in like their normal armor. They're not like completely just fucking static. But it's at the same, you just feel almost unstoppable against the first sort of types of enemies. There's a second type of enemies later that are more on par with you.
Kind of a bit like being a big daddy in Bioshock.
Yeah. And the army, you're fighting against orcs essentially, the first enemy type that you fight, and there's literally thousands of them. There's so many, and you can very easily be overwhelmed if you're playing the game like a retard. But at the same time, it's like, I can walk up to those 30 orcs and just like bam straight into them and just cut them down. Yeah. And it's really satisfying. And then I tried a bit of the online and I thought it was absolute dog shit.
Oh, right. But I've just added a noise gate on and I hope it sounds alright. I guess if my voice sounds terrible for the rest of this podcast, that's why. You'll not be able to hear a difference. Sounds good, though. I've sort of thought about an interesting phenomenon with games. Don't worry, if you're not interested in games for this podcast, well, that's not all we're going to be talking about. I've got more things later. But, we kind of seem to flip-flop between multiplayer games and single-player games. And you so more than me, because I think you've played more games in general. But that makes sense, because if you've been playing a lot of single-player games, it's like, oh, yeah, that was a fun story, and then you kind of get used to that sort of experience, and then you go online, and if you win a Battle Royale, or, like, you get a bunch of kills online, it's like, oh, those were other people, that was fun, that was exciting. So you get a kick out of that, but then you get pissed off at it eventually, obviously, as we've described before. And when you go back to this single-player game, it's so much more satisfying because you can just whack it on easy mode if you want. You can just, you can kind of do what you want a lot more rather than being forced to play against a bunch of, sweats. So I understand why people flip-flop between games like that. But speaking of games, just to stick on that for a minute, me and my girlfriend, me and Jasmine, played Doki Doki Literature Club, because I sent you a message, didn't I, saying, shall I get her to play it on the podcast? And I thought, if I say to her, we're going to play this stupid waifu game, and we're going to make you fall for a waifu, I thought she'd be down to do that for a couple hours. I underestimated how much bullshit talking there is at the start of that game. You should have seen us starting to play it. We were giving them all stupid voices and that. Like Monica had a really deep voice like this, and then Natsuki on it had a chicken run voice. She was like, I don't want to be a pie. So we were doing that, but there's so much fucking dialogue in that game that we couldn't keep it up, and we ended up just spamming the skip text button because we just didn't want to fucking read it all. So and eventually, obviously,
it happens.
Samsung Galaxy S10, who I can't remember her name. You know the one I mean.
Sayori.
Yeah.
Was it Sayori?
I keep forgetting her name and calling it Samsung Galaxy S10.
I also like how I went, oh yes, Sayori.
Oh god, I forget the purple-haired one. I've called her a bunch of stuff as well.
Yuri.
I called her Kiki at one point or something. I don't know.
The purple-haired one is Yuri. She is my favourite.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was funny. As soon as that the big thing happened, if you don't know what happens on Doki Doki Literature Club, how would you describe it, Judd? Spoilers.
It goes from boring, sweaty weeb, wife
text-based love me game.
Love me game to sort of like a fucked up Undertale, and I mean fucked up Undertale in the sense that it's very fourth wall breaking, and it's like, you know, it addresses you a lot. I think, yeah, they did a fair amount of that. Yeah, they did a lot of that in Undertale, didn't they? All the game saving shit. So it turns very abruptly.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's different to Undertale, though, isn't it? It goes from, essentially, one of those waifu love me games to a horror game, to like a bit of a psychological fucked up thing. And it's good. It's very good. It's very well sort of renowned, isn't it? But honestly, I do think it took too long to get there. And I know why. It's because they tried to surprise people who are into those sort of games and like to take a massive turn. So I get it, but I think to sort of the reason why it's popular is people would try and get their friends to play it and try and get their reactions and that sort of thing, wouldn't they? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's why it became popular. Because it, like, out of nowhere turns from this pleasant, silly game into, like, a horror game. And the thing is, it has a warning at the start, so that's not great. Obviously, it might need one. But also, it takes too long to get there, so anyone who you're trying to trick gets bored of it. Yeah. So it takes too long, I think. But yeah, it was pretty good. Also, you're going to hear my dog barking in this podcast because she's going mental and she goes to... Oh! I've just clicked on the wrong bit. I just clicked on one of the scenes on OBS and it's zoomed right in on my face. What the fuck? Okay.
Have you seen the thing that I sent you on Discord? Oh shit.
Yeah, I just saw it. I purposely put it on just my face because I was certain that I wouldn't be able to show that on. Oh no, I did it anyway. Oh no, don't worry. You couldn't see anything bad. You could just see Samsung Galaxy S10 dabbing. But anyway, yeah, that's that. It brought me onto something that I was thinking about, and there's a series on YouTube about this by a guy called Razbutan, Razbutan, I think, and. He does a series called "What Games Are Like for People Who Don't Play Games," because my girlfriend like has never played games, never. She's briefly played like Stardoll or something like that, you know, like Habbo Hotel or something stupid like that. That's not really a game, though, is it? You know, so that
is a sick game. That is a game. You want to pick up 12-year-old girls? That's your game. Habbo Hotel.
It's more of a chat room than it's more of a pedo chat room than anything else.
Yeah, it's a pedo chat room.
So it got me thinking about like games for people who don't like games, and the ones because she was kind of interested in Assassin's Creed because it has a cool story. Thing is, we found out very quickly that is not a good game for her to be playing. Yeah. And thing is, I think she would get bored of watching me play it because she's mostly only into the story. But unless you're interacting with it on a game like that, the story's too slow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're not having any of these things to preoccupy you between each sort of bit of story. So turns out. Not good. She actually ended up crying because she got so pissed off at the controls. But when you've never played a game in your life, it's like it's really fucking annoying. And that's not a really hard game to control. But you know, it's not the easiest ever. So I found the first game that I tried to get to play that I thought would be a good one was the Stanley Parable.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's just walking. There's no jumping. It's walking and looking. She did have a problem with looking, though. She couldn't quite manage looking, so I had to remap the look keys to the arrow keys. So she was using WASD to walk and the arrow keys to look round.
Right.
So kind of like a bit like tank controls.
What were them? What was it before? Just the mouse?
Yeah, the mouse. But I think it was partially because when she'd tried it at my house on the mouse, but. She didn't have a mouse on her laptop at home, so she had to use a trackpad. And I think even I would prefer the arrow keys than a trackpad.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
So there was that, and then we tried it with that, and then we tried it with... What was the other one we did? The other one that was really good was Telltale Games, so we played The Wolf Among Us, and that worked really well. Other than... I think she could still do it, but other than the like combat bits, which she didn't want to do, she liked making all the decisions and seeing the story unfold and that sort of thing. So that worked quite well as well. And then obviously Doki Doki was pretty fine because she could make the decisions and like just experience it. So it's almost like games for people who haven't played games. You kind of need to start off with kind of games that are more like an interactive experience, which a lot of gamers complain about. Yeah. So it obviously shows that there is a place for those sorts of things. And now that we've played a few different games, she can see how she might like to get into them. And she's played, the other game she has played though is Minecraft on a tablet. So I'm thinking the next stage for her would be Minecraft. Get her a mouse, get Minecraft on the laptop, because that's moving around. You've got some jumping and some extra bits like placing blocks and inventories and getting used to a mouse. I reckon she'll probably, because she's played Minecraft before, she'll not get as frustrated. And then that's another stage then. But after that, I sort of think, well, what would be next? Because I think after that, she needs a game that'll help her get used to more common things of combat. But it'd have to be quite simple, wouldn't it?
I mean, she is wanting to take part in this, isn't she? She is wanting.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said she's sort of a bit more interested in playing more games.
Okay, that's all right then. Because I was just going to say, maybe you shouldn't hold your girlfriend hostage at some sort of guinea pig experiment to see if we can actually create the perfect gamer girl.
No. Although she would be a pretty hot gamer girl, gonna be honest. But yeah, she's dressed up as an e-girl before for a YouTube video. It's quite funny. But yeah, I know she's been interested, and I've said to her, well, I don't think that if she plays Minecraft a bit more, like because she's got a Twitch channel, if she plays Minecraft a bit more, I don't see why she couldn't play something like Assassin's Creed, maybe like Breath of the Wild, something like that. A bit more of like an open world game, probably a slower paced one, and to the point where if she starts getting frustrated, she can just be like, oh, I've had enough now. And that's even if that's only 5-10 minutes, fine. Because it's all about like having fun, isn't it, really? So I think she might be getting close to that stage. But I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting concept. And I think you should watch the videos by that Rasputin guy. They're really interesting because he gets his wife to play a series of games. But the thing is, because he's kind of doing it for a video and he's got quite a bit of subs, so she understands that, she's happy to take part of it more of an experiment. So what he does is, he basically whacked her in front of a bunch of games, sat with a notepad and said nothing, and just watched her struggle and sort of noted down like the problems she had and that. And he's done it as a series, so he put her in front of a variety of games, but then he did stuff like online multiplayer, he did stuff like, I don't know. Well, let me have a look. YouTube. Raspberryton. Yeah, he calls her the lady he lives with. Not his, even though it is his wife. Gaming for a non-gamer, it's called. So the first one is what games are like for someone who doesn't play games, and then what Breath of the Wild is like for someone who doesn't play games, what Minecraft is like, what online multiplayer is like, and what casual games are like. And I think they're all very interesting things to think about. He's also got some good, like, different perspectives on games in general. There, my dog goes barking again. So yeah, just thought I'd tell you about that. Pretty fun. Right. I've got more stuff for you, Judd. But first,
go on.
I believe you started driving lessons, am I right?
I have started driving lessons, yeah.
How's that going?
Good. I've only had one so far. I started last week.
You have to wear a mask?
I do, yeah. I have to wear a mask. But it's going well. I've the first sort of few times I was taking off driving. I stalled a couple times. There were a couple times where like I came too far out on a T junction when I was looking. There's a few times when I fucked up like then.
Do you know what sort of car it is or anything like that? Or?
No, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Do you remember what colour it was? Did it have wheels?
It was red and did have wheels, yeah.
Actually, I expect you to say, actually, I think it had legs. Oh, yeah, no, that was a horse. It's a horse.
Square. Oh, yeah, wait. I've been doing horse riding lessons.
No.
I got it wrong.
Your driving instructor still sat at your drive like, where is he? You've just hopped on some random horse. Just going, ah!
Yeah, that's how it happened. But no, there were a few times when I fucked up, and I was thinking, everything's gone from my head. I'm gonna have to fucking relearn all this. But then we started going, going a bit more, And I started getting better and better, and it got to a point where like we got off this little industrial estate and we started going onto the actual road, and then it just all came back to me, and like it got to a point where I was changing gears without her asking, and I was keeping, I was keeping fair distance from everything else. I was coming at T-junction, stopping at the right time, still keeping the car rolling on clutch, finding the biting point perfectly.
And have you noticed yet that there's a lot of stupid rules that you have to follow that make you less safe just so that you pass?
Kinda.
Because I know that as you get on it, I noticed it towards the end, because to start with, they just kind of make sure you're more generally safe, don't they, before trying to teach you how to pass.
Yeah.
But like when you get towards being able, like where they want to make you pass, they start sort of like, well, they tell you like when all the sort of times you're supposed to look in the mirrors. And the thing is, if you looked, if you day to day, if I looked in the mirrors as often as you need to do to pass your test, I'd be barely looking at the road in front of me. It's ridiculous how many times they ask you to look in your mirrors and look round you and all sorts. It's not good. Obviously, use them. Definitely. I'm not saying just ignore them at all. But like, the amount of times that you're required to is unsafe in our country. But yeah.
Oh well. It's going okay for me, so.
Do you enjoy it so far?
I do enjoy it, yeah, I do enjoy driving.
Well, that'll not last long. When it starts costing you loads of money, and then they're like fucking you about with theory tests, and you have to get a bus to Huddersfield, and you have to click on an old man's head even though he's 20 miles away. Oh, you clicked on it too soon. Oh, but I spotted him in more time, but no, I don't like that. Oh no, you got 0 on that one because you noticed too many hazards. Stuff like that. It's like
I was really confused when you said click on an old man's head then.
Because that's the theory test. And then when you go to do your practical test, oh yeah, when would you like to do it? Oh, maybe in like a couple of weeks. Oh, a couple of years? Yeah, that's all right then. And then it's like, oh god, it's all fucking horrible. So and then you'll get a driving test person who will start quizzing you about your entire life. And you're like, I'm just trying to drive, mate. It's like so it's honestly, it costs so much money as well. And then when you get slapped with an insurance bill for a car, my insurance was fairly cheap for my car, and it was still $1,200. The car was $300. How can it's insane, isn't it? But yeah, I don't like driving now because it's been such of a pain in the arse over years. I've spent over 10 grand on driving easily, in total. So it's probably close to 15 at this point. It's honestly, it's insane. And I think something that's annoying is people are too precious about cars in our country. As in, if they get like a tiny, tiny scratch that no one can see, they'll be pissed off. They'll make you claim on your insurance. Like, if I scratched someone's car, right, even if their car had a load of scratches on it already, in our country, there's a culture where it's like, oh, I'm claiming on your insurance then, mate. They'll claim on my insurance. And even though I could probably, for free, fix it completely, they don't care. They just want a new bumper or whatever. So because they just want it for some reason, even though it don't make any actual difference to them. They just want a new bumper, and then that means that instead of it costing me £800 next year to be insured, it'll cost me £2,000. And they're just selfish like that. The system's so stupid. But yeah, that's why it's annoying. It's kind of necessary though now. Like, it's been necessary in America for a while, hasn't it? Because it's obviously their country's so big. But it's necessary for us in a different way, in that Jasmine's been looking at a bunch of jobs, and you kind of need to be able to drive to get most jobs nowadays, including what you're trying to do, don't you? Like, once you've passed that apprenticeship thing, you need to be able to get to clients, don't you? So
I've got to learn how to drive, and it sucks, but that be how it be.
Yeah, it's not a nice. I hate that sort of attitude that it's like, oh well, that's just how it is, so we'll have to deal with it. Even though it could be different, could be better if everyone just stopped being idiots. But the thing is, I definitely think we're at that point, and everyone, like, when they become an adult, gets to that point where they are already sick of putting up with shit. They're already sick of putting in so much effort, so they just want to do the least effort possible and just be like, I am not going to try and change everyone's outlook. I think Judd's frozen and dead. Are you dead? Is he gone? Where's he gone? I think he's dead. But yeah, it's that is the case. It's pretty annoying. I'm going to try and call him again. And we'll see. It's good live podcast. Good live. There's a reason why we record this live. Shall I whisper to you? I'm gonna have to send him a message. Hold on. Call me back, Dick. There we go. Oh, but other than that, when Judd comes back, I'm gonna tell him about a lockdown night out I had, because they're a thing. You can go on a night out in lockdown, which is pretty crazy, really. I'm actually planning on going out later. This is why I'm trying to get this podcast done, because I'm really hungry. I'm very hungry. I stole a chicken salad from my dad's fridge earlier, and that's all I've eaten. And I'm planning on going out with my lover girl. So fucking hell. I think he's dead. Oh, there we go. What's wrong?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
My computer blue screen.
Oh, perfect. Well,
it's fine now. It's all loading back up. I can literally hop back on. Discord's booting up now.
blue screen, nice one.
I was. Hold on.
Oh, there you are. You need to turn your camera on.
PC blue screen.
Even your PC doesn't want to do this podcast today.
I was sorting some stuff out. I was uninstalling some games so I can download Apex, and
Oh no! Don't do it! Don't do it!
I'm having to do it because me and Sam need a new game to play together. Because obviously,
oh fuck's sake! Fine, I'll download it again and play with you.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said. I've never.
Fucking hell! I'll teach you how to play. Even though I've not played in like 2 months now.
Why is my name on? Hold on. Why is my name on Apex Games Bladder?
Games Bladder. Yeah, that's perfect. I like it. Games Bladder. No, it's fine because I'll get it again and play with you because we need more days to stream now. We need to figure out a schedule for a start. But also, I'm interested to see if that sort of prolonged period off of playing will have affected, like, how much it'll affected how good I am. Because obviously it will. If I had when I was playing it like at my hardest, when I had a day off, it affected how good I was. So yeah, it'll be really interesting anyway. But I'm not gonna get back into it or even probably play it unless anyone else is on. But yeah, right. I need to sort of wrap up this podcast quite quick, Judd. So I want to tell you like the last thing I've got on my list.
Okay.
I went out round town. I went out on a night out.
What?
Town. I did it. Basically, it was after my first week of work. My girlfriend's mates had invited me and her out round town, and it were all right. There were barely anyone there. It were a Friday night, and we went to. There's like there's like a rooftop sort of place, isn't there, in our town centre at the minute. Have you seen that? It's been changed from. It used to be another bar, and they've added like 2 rooftop things where one's like a top rooftop, and it's got like AstroTurf fake grass on it, and then like. It only covers actually half of the roof, and then you can kind of go down, and then there's like a floor below where half of it's covered by obviously that proper rooftop bit, and the other half is rooftop as well. And there's a bar there on the roof.
Right.
So we went there, and it was quite nice. It was nice and sunny, and there were some lads there, and I did lad chat, talked about the UFC. And they liked that, and we went to another place after that. Me and Jasmine like had pre-drinks before this as well because I wanted to get drunk because I'd not like been out in ages. I'd done my first week of work and I was shattered, and like I just wanted to let go and have a fun time.
Yeah.
So I'd had like I'd say maybe 3, maybe probably 4 rum and cokes in total because I'd had 2 normal-sized kind of. Not particularly strong ones either, glasses. But then, those like red Solo cups, which are kind of like a pint. I don't think they are a pint, actually. They're nearly a pint, aren't they?
Yeah.
I almost filled one of those with rum and coke as well. So that's kind of like 2 drinks in that, I would say. So I had 4 before I went out, which is, without trying to sound like a cocky 17-year-old teenager, that's not a lot for me, is it? 4 is not a lot for me. I would say double that, and then I'm drunk, I'd have to double that, and then I'd be sort of kind of tipsy, but not like off my face. So we walked into town, and I had a pint of beer, at that rooftop place. I had a pint of beer at another place where we might be going to eat today. And then we went to one more place. And I think I'd got another drink, but I don't remember what drink I had. And don't remember anything after that. Just completely blacked out. And I don't know how, because I remember getting to the third place we'd been to and the last place we were going to go to.
Yeah.
And it wasn't late. It was about like 9:45. So it wasn't late or anything like that. I didn't feel massively drunk. I felt, I was kind of tipsy at that point. And I just don't remember. Like, next thing I remember, I was waking up in bed at like 8, like 7:45, at like 7:45, going, "Huh, I'm in bed now." And it was so weird. And apparently, these lads who we were with, they kind of liked me, and they'd bought me like 3 or 4 more drinks than that, and a couple of which was like whiskey and sambuca shots. And this was the time where I was messaging you. Like, I'd sent you a picture of the lads there, and I was saying, which one of these would you most want to smooch?
I remember.
And then, do you remember, one of their girlfriends, like, took a picture, and I sent it, and sent it to you, because, like, they knew I was, asking that of you. And I said, what about a guy that looks like this? Which I don't think is anything to take offence to, but she did not like that. She got kind of pissed off at me for asking you if you would fancy a guy that looked like her. I didn't say she looked like one at all. That's why I was asking. Because she doesn't look like a guy. So I was like, if a guy looked like this, what would you think of that? So,
right. I see.
But I'm guessing, I feel like that's the type of thing that I should post on like the "Am I the Asshole" Reddit, What do you think? Am I the asshole on that part, or is she dumb for being offended at that?
I think you're just a bit of an autistic freak who like doesn't know how to socially interact very well, and you've said something really stupid and weird that doesn't necessarily need to be taken offense to, but it's like it's also something that's just like, all right, why would you say that though? That's just such like a nonsensical statement. Oh, would you fuck a guy if he looked exactly like a girl? Oh, you mean a girl? No,
I mean a girl with a cock.
Well, yeah, I would.
Okay, good.
We've done it.
I don't know. I get why it's like weird, but it's nothing to be annoyed at, I don't think.
I don't know. I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have said it because I'm not.
Well, I didn't say it. I typed it to you.
I don't think I'd type it either. I think she probably would have been more. I think she would have been more okay with you saying, "What about one of these slags? What about one of these?"
No, I don't. I think she would have disliked that.
I reckon she would have gone, "Get over, you silly sod."
No, she's quite refined. She's a classy lady, Judd. I think that was the problem. I underestimated how classy she was.
I'm simply not interested. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so that was that. I don't remember what. But the thing is, it's weird. When you've blacked out like that. Whenever I've blacked out, there's never been footage of me, like conscious, but obviously not there. Until now, because Jasmine filmed me like having lad chat with the lads, and they'd sat on another table to talk about girl stuff because there was 3 girls and 4 lads, and it's nothing interesting, so there's no point looking at it. But she filmed me doing lad chat with them. I don't know what I was talking about because I was completely blacked out at this point, but it was weird to see me chatting to these lads, and they were all like, "Oh yeah, they were really interested. They were into what I was saying," and I had no clue. I still don't know what I was saying.
Weird, isn't it?
It's really weird when you see that, but
sort of like a fugue state. I've had a few times like that, but it's like. There's something otherworldly about it.
Yeah.
It's the worst. No, not the worst. I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of the worst. Or the best thing because it's.
You're going all robot. Your computer's going to blue screen again. I can tell.
No, it's not. It's fine. It's not going to blue screen. We're fine. We're absolutely fine.
Continue.
We are fine. fine. So yeah, it's just I got in this taxi with these two lads. I actually got in this taxi, and then these two lads got in the back, and they were like, "Oh, okay." But it's because those lads were like, "Oh, you're Jordan Tapp, aren't you? You're Jordan Tapp," and I'm like, yeah." And they were like, "Oh my god!" and started like chatting between themselves. But with the amount of shit that I've done and the amount of times that I've blacked out and not like been able to recall it, I could have done anything. I could have robbed a bank. I could have liberated some third world country like Far Cry 3 style. I could have done. I don't know what I've done. I could have shit on a homeless man. This is infinite.
Well, I mean, you've not shit on one, but we have pissed on one before.
Yeah,
and that's.
That
I don't know if we've told that on the podcast before, but I'm going to note it down to tell it next time at least.
I could have grabbed a bat from the air and said, "I'm going to bite this," and then blame it on the Chinese. I could have done. I could have done anything.
Oh Jesus! Well, speaking of stuff like that, I did do some stuff as well. Apparently.
Hold on, my light's not. There we go.
I don't remember us leaving that last bar, but
yeah,
we walked home, and apparently I punched a pole, like a lamppost, I guess, or something. I punched it, and I think I elbowed it, and I think it's because I've been doing like boxing training and that, and my drunk me was like, "Oh yeah, look, it's my punch bag." Or some stupid shit like that. So I'd punched it, and my elbow still kind of hurts a little bit. Like if I press on it, I can feel it differently. But when I woke up that next morning, I put my elbow down. I was like, "Oh fucking hell, that hurts!" And I think I'd full on like elbowed this pole. I don't think I actually punched it because my hands feel completely fine. I think I elbowed it, and Jasmine's remembered it wrong, and I elbowed it.
Yeah,
I must have fucking clanged it because it hurt. That's like since Friday, so that's like how many days ago is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days this thing's been hurting. So, and that's bad though, because that's on my broken arm that's like been like molded back together or whatever. So I did that, but more funnily, earlier on, Steve-O has released earlier on, like on that Friday, I'd been working, and I like to watch something while I'm working from home.
Yeah.
And Steve-O has released like a comedy special, but with a bunch of stunts and that in it, and it's got like the cast of Jackass in and that. And it was really good, and I quite enjoyed it. And I remember, and walking home, apparently, I don't remember, Jasmine told me, apparently I was like, "Oh, Steve-O's possessed me." Like I was channeling Steve-O. And we were walking past KFC, and there was this holly bush in front of KFC, and without any notice, I just did a somersault into this holly bush. Straight into this holly bush. And I've still got like scabby scratches all up my arm and on my neck. I've got a bunch of scratches on my neck from where I got, and I was wearing like a small like necklace, and it got all caught in this thing, and she had to like drag me out, being like, "Fucking hell, stop doing stupid shit." So all that I hope is that when I did that, I went "Kia!" as I jumped in. That's the whole thing that I'm hoping for. But I was disappointed in it because there's no video footage of this, and I would have very much liked to see it. Although I did accidentally pocket video, and you can barely hear anything. It's just blackness and me and Jasmine sounding drunk going.
Yeah.
So yeah, nights out continue, and I believe that in the future of this podcast, when Rona's all fucked off, back to its own country, fucking hell, Jesus. When it's all gone away, nights out are probably going to be our best sort of stream stories and that sort of thing, especially you. You've got a back catalogue we could just draw on at any moment, really, haven't you?
Why? What the stream stories?
Yeah, like to like going out drinking stories on stupid shit that you've got up to while you've been smashed.
I don't know if I'm allowed to tell half of them on while I'm streaming.
Why?
I'm not allowed to say. I don't think I'm allowed to.
Is it because it's involving illegal activities? Is it because it's involving people who you don't want to mention?
Both.
Right, well, there's a solve to that. You just give the illegal activities a different name that people can kind of tell what you mean. And the people who you don't want to say on stream, you just give them a different name.
All right, that's fine, yeah. God,
so,
yeah, the list is
Anyway,
it's never ending, really.
I know it's never ending. Have a think about that for next week. Also, at some point, I'm going to try and do the rebrand on the Twitch channel to Streams Badly, Not Games Badly. I've not done it yet. And then also, what's the other thing? I want to try and come up with a schedule with you, which I think will be good. I'm thinking Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. So, yeah. That's that. And that's a short podcast because I've got to go bath myself because I'm a sweaty, stinky bitch. And then I'm going out. Right. Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.
Right. Bye-bye.
Say goodbye, Judd.
Bye.
Keep saying bye.
Bye. Bye.
saying it.
Bye. 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 Bye.
That was a great bit. Right, goodbye.